Will be interesting to see how they follow up. Here is Wanderson. Grant. And Shim Sang-min. Lee Kwang-hyuk playing it short. Ko Young-jun is slightly unexpectedly taken up a left position, but I don't expect him to stay there for very long. So Lee Sung-mo, more experience of the deep midfield pair for Pohang. Neither of them have anything like the experience of Shin Jin-ho. Ko Young-jun steps inside. Long cross, Ko Young-jun, it's a header off the line. And Suwon FC face early danger. It's not quite done yet either, Ko Young-jun. Lee Kwang-hyuk. And it's the manager's son who picks it up on the right-hand side. Kim Jun-ho doesn't hold it for long. Wanderson, Lee Sung-mo. Well, we haven't had a chance to see the replay yet. This has been somewhat relentless from Pohang, still pushing this phase. And now the goalkeeper spills it. Park Bae-jong. Well, he made a decent save, instinctive though it may have been first time around. That one was a little more nervy when he had a moment to consider the high ball in. Ko Young-jun is Pohang's top scorer with 10 goals. And he scored both matches against FC so far this season. Each of the teams has a win against the other. Ho's goal in the defeat was very much a late consolation after Lee Sung-woo had scored a wonder goal. Here's Murillo, just about testing the goalkeeper, giving him a touch of the ball. This was Murillo's effort. I was hoping we might get a chance to see the other one up the other end. Must have been pretty close to the goal line. Suwon goalkeeper Park Bae-jong was in the right place at the right time, because if he hadn't been, I'm not sure he would have had any chance to save it. Ko Young-jun's delicate pass does reach Ko Young-jun. I think this is the chance here. Very much onside when the ball's played. And there's the save, as I said, very close to the line. Goalkeeper ends up in the net. Jung Jae-hee leaves it for Wanderson. Chung. Oh, it's threaded through almost. Some uncertain defending early on from Suwon FC, who are in that mid-table club of unpredictable teams. Can be brilliant on their day, or frankly quite poor, and their goal record very much stands up to that too. 46 goals scored, but 48 conceded in just 29 games before this. There's the normally reliable Kim Gon-ung just getting a touch that wasn't quite enough initially. But the chance before that we saw a replay of, Ho Yong-jun, watching it back again, just made it seem that it was very much Ho's chance to squander, and squander it he did. He had a fantastic opportunity there to head it past the keeper. And he's just provided a fairly tame effort for the keeper to stop from that sort of range. Lars Velvik is ahead of the last man, but the goalkeeper will calmly let that one go out of play. It's going to be interesting to see what happens with this Pohang defence, because they're going to be welcoming back the former stalwart Ha Chang-rae, who's been doing his military service. That finishes this week. There'll be a number of players. Cho Kyu-sung of Jeonbuk is another one. He'll be returning to the parent club. And he's been on fire this league season, competing with Ju Min-gyu for top scorer. World Cup year. But where Ha Chang-rae fits into the picture might have Alex Grant and Park Chan-young wondering. But where Ha Chang-rae fits into the picture, there is Park Chan-young's long pass out. More. Again, Park Chan-young taking it up. Park Chan-young's been a decent partnership for Alex Grant. Two of them seem to suit playing alongside each other. Park Chan-young came in from Jeonnam Dragons. Alex Grant Australia. But he's one of the foreign imports that's done really well as well in the K-League. No nonsense, but occasionally pretty composed as well for a central defender. And for now, Wanderson knocks it out for a corner, and Suwon FC have something to build on. Lee Seung-woo needs to help inspire this Suwon team that started the game in a little bit of a difficult, untidy posture. Could already be 1-0 down. But Murillo will deliver this corner. And, well, decent looking cross, but just too easy for the keeper. Players on the pitch right now. Lee Seung-woo is not exactly an out-and-out striker, but he is the top scorer with 11. Claimed recently in an interview with K-League United that he's not seeking to become the top scorer overall in the league. Just wants to get through the season without injury. World Cup is a big motivator for him, and he also has among all the goals he scored this season, the fondest memory of scoring against Pohang earlier this year at this stadium in a 2-1 win. It's interesting how Ko Young-jun is still dropping right back. He's playing the Shin Jin-ho role almost, with Lee Seung-mo pushing further forward and the youngster Kim Jun-ho being played outside of the key central defensive area. Here is Ko Young-jun, who's come forward, across to Lee Seung-mo. And whistle blows eventually to protect Shim Sang-min. Well, of all the managers in the league this season, these two would not be feeling the pressure that others have been under already. We've seen managerial changes recently, for instance, with Songnam and Daegu, and with Songnam earning a stunning victory against Ulsan last time. They're just 4 points behind Daegu at the bottom of the table now, and 4 points behind Gimcheon for that matter. It's all very bunched up among those three. And then the Blue Wings, in their impressive victory at FC Seoul, you've got a gap of 5 points to 9th. So the bottom three in danger of being cut off and playing amongst themselves to earn a relegation playoff place rather than automatic relegation for the bottom side. We do know a lot can change. We've got a couple, well, 33 rounds, so this is round 30, so 3 more games after this until the division splits, and then 5 more final rounds. So it's probably a bit premature to say a 5-point gap is cut off, but if you're in bad form like Daegu and Gimcheon are, then you're probably not too hopeful of overtaking the Blue Wings right now. Songnam, with 2 wins in a row, might be looking up. Suwon FC just getting into the top half of the challenge right now. And for Pohang, what must have seemed a very unlikely scenario not so long ago to get themselves up into second will happen if they win this evening. At least temporarily, until Jeonbuk play then tomorrow. And if you look where Ulsan are after their defeat to Songnam, if Ulsan were to capitulate, then it might not just be Jeonbuk chasing them down, it might be Pohang as well if they continue the sort of form that saw them win 4-1 against Daegu. Here's Murillo playing it into Velvik. Slightly unorthodox header, but actually got the crowd wondering for a moment. Hoping in wonder. Well, Wanderson seems pretty much as comfortable on the right hand side as he is on the left. The biggest change that we've seen is Ko Young-jun dropping in such a deep role, but he's comfortable there too so far. No major signs of Pohang badly missing their captain at the moment. Shim Sang-min back into Ko Young-jun. Junho again seems to be following the instruction to feed the ball to a teammate as quickly as possible and hold possession, and that's what he's done so far. Grant onto Ho Young-jun. Lee Kwang-hyuk may know he's only got another 10 minutes or so on the field before Im Sang-hyuk comes on, if they follow the recent pattern. Wanderson keeps it in play, but it's straight back off of Park Min-gyu for a throw. You would have to say first 15 minutes and a bit, it's Pohang who are the more comfortable of the two teams, living up to their league position. They don't always do it. In fact, before their win against Daegu, Pohang had gone 3 games without a win. Lee Kwang-hyuk is a little tied up, but wins the ball back for Lee Seung-mo. The worrying sign for Suwon FC is that they've started with a number of their players that they sometimes bring off the bench, Lars Velvik, Murillo, Lee Seung-woo, and they've not been able to generate the impact that they would have hoped for. Chung Jae-hee into Go Young-jun, who tried something different. Couldn't pick out Lee Seung-mo. Straight back in, and then the slightly wild effort at a pass from a player in Shin Se-ge, who's moved into a central position of late. Lachlan Jackson is missing for Suwon FC. Another decent defensive option to come into the K-League from Australia. Grant. Pass wasn't quite where it needed to be for Go Young-jun, but one thing that Pohang are showing early on is this ability to recover quite comfortably from a loss of possession. Suwon FC need to make life a bit harder for them. Junho, slightly more ambitious ball, found Ho Young-jun, he wasn't able to hold it, and they again come forward. Lee Kwang-hyuk, it's punched out, the goalkeeper might have caught that. It was, I think, a sign of his uncertainty and early nerves in this game that he decided to punch it out. It never looks totally reliable, those sort of punches. Lee Kwang-hyuk, time I thought it was a slightly ambitious effort, but in the end, well, it looks justified to test the keeper. Grant's pass again, not quite where it wanted to be, but this has been time comprehensive. The possession 78%, about as high as we ever see it. Velvik. Murillo decides to bring it down. They need to be that little bit more composed now. Lee Ki-hyuk just let it run, and Go Young-jun was able to close it down. Murillo, again, good play from the Brazilian. living up to his playmaker tag. Lee Seung-woo has dropped to pick it up. Hello decides to bring it to find him in space. And now he's just had a moment of the ball in front of him for the first time, for a while at least, and unfortunately the touch took it away straight to Pohang. It's a slightly better spell for Suwon FC, something for the crowd to pin their hopes on. Suwon FC, as I suggested earlier, so inconsistent. There have been games in the last couple of years in this Kim Do-kyun era where they've been just scintillating. They can just blow teams apart. It can also be so off colour. And well, I hope for Suwon's sake that they find a way into this game in a slightly more convincing fashion than they have so far. Especially they are the home team. Velvik not really too impressed with Wonderson's tackle there. Park Min-gyu's throw. Velvik flicks it on. And this is one of those sort of games where, and while this is true of any game, this is particularly one of those games where one goal for either side could make all the difference. You could see Pohang taking the lead and building on that and running away with it. You could likewise see Suwon FC completely shift the momentum with a goal against the run of play. Suddenly, Pohang might then struggle. But now it is a Pohang corner. Chung Jae-hee's attempted cross. He scored a wonderful goal against Daegu from range. Wonderson. Better punch from the keeper that time. Go Young-jun heads it back to Ho Young-jun. Wasn't sure if there was an offside in the build-up, but we still play on. And it's a wonderful save. Go Young-jun diving, a player that you wouldn't necessarily associate with aerial prowess. There was the suspicious positioning because Ho Young-jun was so far ahead of the play, and there were appeals for offside that were not listened to. And had he scored, perhaps we would have had a review. Instead, play went on and we had this. And the goalkeeper had to make that save, but he's redeemed himself somewhat. And again, it's a better punch than what we saw a few minutes ago. Just shy of 25 minutes. Pohang asking most of the early questions, but Suwon FC's goalkeeper starting to provide some answers, which Suwon could also build on. And it's pretty harmlessly over and wide. And the first change of the game, it's not Pohang's recent trademark, it's Suwon FC, but they've been well known for their early changes as well. Lee Gi-hyuk can make a decent first half impression. Today it's been tough for him and for Suwon generally. And Kim Seung-jun might just help shift the momentum a little. straight away, making his presence felt. Kim Seung-jun has 5 goals this season. It's interesting how Suwon FC have only 1 player with double figures in Lee Seung-woo, but yet they are the league's top scorers. Grant out to Shim Sang-min. Go Young-jun continuing to show that positional flexibility. Does really seem as though Pohang have sought to compensate for the loss of their captain Shin Jin-ho, as well as the experienced right back / midfielder Shin Kwang-hoon. Compensate for that by allowing Go Young-jun and also on the other side Kim Jun-ho to drop back into wing-back positions at times, let the wing-backs come inside, something we've seen FC Seoul do quite a lot of without too much success. But they're protecting themselves. So far, here is another case of Suwon FC just not quite able to find any way through. Chung Jae-hee, Anderson, Kim Jun-ho goes back. Park Chan-young attempts another one of his long passes. Again, this one's headed out. It's territorial gain for Pohang. Grant now out to Shim Sang-min, back inside for Go Young-jun. Decent range of passing shown from Park Chan-young so far in this game. And here come Pohang brightening up again. Lee Kwang-hyuk. Go Young-jun. Had a half-hearted effort. Suwon FC are standing up a little better to the test. Showing some of their own steel, dare I say it. Go Young-jun goes down without any reward. Murillo lifts it up for Lars Velvik to chase, but far too much on it. crossfield. But Shim Sang-min cannot pick up Park Chan-young's pass on that occasion. From a Pohang point of view, that the manager has not trusted Lee Soo-bin for a midfield role this evening. He might have been seen as a natural successor to a player like Shin Jin-ho. Kwang Hyuk, and Chung Jae-hee couldn't get on the end of it. Lee Seung-mo slips, and Lee Young lets it run back to the keeper. Pohang have to keep up the intensity. Since this game is theirs if they want it, they've got to take the chance while it's 79% possession in their favour, and while Suwon FC are looking a little ruffled and finding it hard to counter. There will come a turning point at some point in this game where Suwon FC start to create more of their own chances. It's that battle and the balance between patience and risk and reward. Grant and Lee Kwang Hyuk. Well, that might hasten his departure from the pitch, because Lee Kwang Hyuk may well be replaced by Im Sung-hyup in the near future. Grant and Park Chan-young, then 19-year-old Kim Jun-ho, crossfield again. Chung Jae-hee collects. Everyone behind the ball, Suwon. Back with Shim Sang-min. Wanderson with a bit of the taste of the unexpected. And that's perhaps what's needed to unlock one of these defences, because falling into a slightly cagey pattern where both teams are forced into possession attempts rather than goal-scoring opportunities. Obviously, Pohang doing the possession part much more successfully than Suwon right now. Park Chan-young. Attempted through ball, just a little beyond Ha Young-jun. Who was complaining that he wanted different pass. Goalless across the board in the K-League so far this evening. Who's going to break the deadlock first? Oh, almost Grant. Pohang had an own goal in their last match. This could have been a second own goal in as many games for them. Risky clearance. Grant, just looking at his eyes there, looked pretty cool. He must have been worried inside. Young's corner. Morello's attempt already came with the whistle. Kim Junho back with Park Chan-young and Grant. Kwang-hyuk covers from the slip, but Murillo just sensed the opportunity to capitalise and then was held back. Wasn't a huge amount of contact there. Barely a brush, really. I think Murillo is making the most of that. Lee Seung-mo was knocked on the way through, and he might be making the most of that. Young back into Park Joo-ho. Kwang-hyuk still on the field, 40 minutes in. Maybe he will make it to half-time. Anderson and then Kim Junho, and Anderson holds off Lee Seung-woo. Pohang switch it up to the left. Grant, well, complimented his composure earlier. His passing's been off this evening. And Pohang just showing signs of running out of ideas by the end of this half. It's been a disappointing fizzling of sorts, fizzling out. Let's see if they can lift the momentum again before half-time. But Suwon FC, the positive they can draw from this first half is they faced the force that Pohang have thrown. Really looking like they're going to concede, except for very early on when Park Bae-jong made a save off the line, and then a little bit later a diving save from Go Young-jun, which might have been ruled out for offside had it gone in. And other than that, well, Suwon FC have kept them at bay and got stronger in defending as the game's gone on. Can they then pose a threat of their own? Lars Velvik with a reminder of his presence. They're yet to really test Kanghyun more, but maybe there are signs that towards the end of this half or in the second, Suwon FC will enjoy some ascendancy, and if and when they do, Pohang will have to regret not making more of the early part of this game. Wanderson was gliding through and then plays on after being seemingly tripped by Murillo, his fellow countryman. And then Lee Sung-mo goes backwards. Lee Kwang-hyuk with some pace. And he's gone down in the box. It was rather dramatic, the fall. Face a picture of innocence, but didn't see the kind of push he was just demonstrating. Let's have another look. Kim Gon-ung's there with him. Well, it's very difficult to judge because he goes down as soon as there's contact, and in such a fashion that doesn't sort of allow you to see any contact there because he's gone down so quickly. Murillo getting in front of Ha-young-jun, and maybe he's hurt himself in the process. Lee-yong has earned a corner. Wants to take it quickly, the man on loan from Jeonbuk. Been a good move for him to get regular football again. Too good to be sitting on the Jeonbuk bench, or not even on the bench at times this season. Murillo's still down. It was a tough challenge from him on Ha-young-jun. Then overextends that right foot, might be an Achilles injury. So I hope he can just run this off. Could be nasty, those. So Lee-yong will once again take this corner. Just past 45 minutes. It's flicked on by Lee Sung-ho. Kim Sung-jun trying to play it back in. And Ha-young-jun, stand-in captain on defensive duty. Wanderson away. And an opportunity to break at the end of this half. Lee Kwang-hyuk's in the middle. It's a cross to no one. Velvik. 1 minute's been played. Finally, this game is coming alive right at the end of the half, and kind of want to see where it's going. Might get that opportunity now. Park Min-gyu with a cross, and Velvik was just coming in at the right time, but it wouldn't land comfortably for him. Lee-yong's cross, and that one's drifted out harmlessly as the whistle blows, with both teams starting to open up a little bit. Hopefully
몇 년 동안 크게 자라지 않다가 어느 날 보면 이런 울창한 숲이 되어 있는 모소대나무. 그런데 키운 사람들은 하나도 놀라지 않는다는 얘기를 해주신 적이 있죠. 스타트업에게 누군가 알아봐준다, 믿고 기다려준다는 것만큼 절실한 게 또 있을까요? 아직 세상이 알아보지 못한 기업들을 위해 IBK 기업내. 여행 왔는데 청소 차느라 스마트폰만 보고 있을 거예요. 수원 여행이 위한
자, 선물 바로 공개합니다. 제이콥 인덕션 드릴게요. 고맙습니다. 저는 이벤트 당첨자분들 감사드리겠고요. 경품은요, 경기 종료 후에 조합 안내 센터에서 수령해서 이용하겠습니다. 감사합니다. 자, 이어서 소녀도시의 스틸러스 코리아 게스트의 합가의 댄스 보여드리겠습니다. 여러분의 큰 박수와 함께 출발!
Second half, Suwon FC 0, Pohang Steelers 0. It was a first half that saw Pohang get off to a bright start, failing to capitalise on that. It somewhat petered out into a cagey encounter before coming alive again right at the end. Suwon FC, the best they can say really is that they've got the second half to make their presence felt in a home match that's not really felt like Suwon have had anything like the ascendancy. Even though they started with stars, Lee Sung-woo, Lars Velvik and Murillo, they brought on Kim Sung-jun for youngster Lee Gi-hyuk during the first half. We've seen a couple of changes from Pohang at half-time. Lee Soo-bin and Im Sang-hyuk on, and Lee Kwang-hyuk and the manager's son Kim Jun-ho, teenager, off. So all round, both teams just bringing on more experience. Suwon FC playing right to left in red and blue, looking a little bit more confident already in this second half. Pohang, no wonder they started well. They just came off a 4-1 victory over Daegu. Suwon 2-2 against Jeju last time out. Kim Soo-jun trying to get in and round and behind Shim Sang-min. It's a deep defensive throw for Pohang. Now, Lee Sung-woo. Park Min-gyu screwed it wide. Kang Hyun-moo. Park Chan-young. Lee Soo-bin going back to the keeper. Now Lee Soo-bin taking up the Shin Jin-ho role. Remember, or if you hadn't heard already, you can hear it for the first time, that Captain Shin Jin-ho is suspended. So too is experienced right back Shin Kwang-hun, and I was saying in the first half that we're not really seeing the impact of that, but perhaps as it goes on, as they're tested more, we'll start to feel the loss of those players more. Park Min-gyu leaves it for Lee Sung-woo, who I think has had more touches in the second half so far than he did in the whole of the first. Told to move half a yard back. And Murillo's kick in. It's the chance from range. Park Joo-ho, the captain, bursting forward, hitting it with some ferocity. There was a strong deflection on the way through. Would have been tough for anyone, keeper included, to stop that. It was off Grant. Kim Sung-jun going to bring it down. Grant up and away. This is a very different Suwon FC now. Flag stays down, does it, for now? Hyeong-jun. Lee Soo-bin. Wanderson. Well, it's gone all the way through to Eong to clear. Might have been challenged earlier on in the middle. Decent ball in. Put it in the danger area. Someone's got to be making that run, but again there was that touch, and it was off of Chung Jae-yong that could have made all the difference there. And a through ball looking for Velvik from Lee Sung-woo. Now we've got a bit more of a contest on our hands. Very difficult to say which of these teams is going to prevail in this one. Hyeong-jun back to Go Young-jun. Wanderson. Pass from Chung Jae-hee didn't work out. Lee Sung-woo is closed off very quickly though as Pohang recover. Wanderson pushing forward. Sang-hyup plays it off to Shim Sang-min. And the cross is good. Hyeong-jun still battling for it. Chung Jae-hee strikes it straight at the defender. Looks like he wanted to score through brute force alone there. Pohang still looking to come forward. Im Sang-hyup, very dangerous cutting in. Seen it so often from him, including against Daegu last time. Here he is again. It's going to be a corner. There is a danger for Suwon FC that by lifting their tempo, they've provoked Pohang into a stronger response. They have to remain alert, especially now. Wanderson with the corner. Oh, it's headed over. Park Chan-yong coming forward. Well, Chung Jae-yong is showing concern. Referee is rushed across here inspect the fallout of this challenge. Jung on Go Young-jun, nothing major in it. Change. We'll see Go Young-jun make way now. Don't know if that was something they were planning already, but either way, it's been hastened, the decision, with Kim Seung-dae coming on for Go Young-jun. During the brightest spell of this game for Pohang, Go Young-jun was pulling strings from a deeper position than normal. Now Kim Seung-dae will no doubt play in behind forward Ho Young-jun. Perhaps even alongside him, as we're seeing right now. Ho Young-jun with the ball across. Jung Jae-hee! It's immediately deflected again. Oh, there's a clear pull on the shirt, and surely a yellow card if it's that obvious. And this player, Jung Jae-yong, was just involved in the injury to Go Young-jun. But it's not even particularly subtle. And it's actually a double pull on the shirt.
박표 선수에게 응원의 박수 부탁드립니다.
Suwon's attempt to recover again. It's Kim Seung-jun, ball just wouldn't land kindly for him. Jung Jae-yong has to be careful. Look at this. He's probably should have been booked already. Now finally a yellow card comes out. Seems like he was begging the booking. Wanderson's chip forward. Across the line, but not the ball. Melving brings it down. Murillo to Lee Seung-woo. Jung Jae-yong's plenty of options in front of him. It's passed through to the keeper. And Wanderson. Seung-mo. Then Wanderson out to Jung Jae-hee. Kim Seung-dae just chasing. Just over half an hour to go. It's a tightly poised game. Now Jung Jae-hee's cross is blocked and it's back with him again. Lee Sung-mo still battling away in that midfield. Now he's been joined by Lee Soo-bin. Im Sang-hyub having a dart through. Oh, it's just wide. Jung Jae-hee, one of the form players for Pohang of late. Seven goals in his debut season for Pohang since making the move over the winter. Stepping up to KLeague 1 football. Signed from Jeonnam Dragons, who despite being a KLeague 2 team did win the FA Cup last year. Now up the other end. Looked like a possible handball there, but we play on. Kim Sung-dae. And Jung Jae-hee just being held back. Just the right line of fare, perhaps, you could say, from Kim Gon-ung in the box. Lars Velvik. And Murillo. Back to Velvik. And it's still, and it's in! And Pohang have been punished for failing to take their earlier opportunities, failing to capitalise on their incredibly dominant spell of possession in the first half. And now find themselves at Suwon, 1-0 down. Well, it took at least one touch on the way through from Velvik. Let's have another look in a moment. There's no doubt among the Suwon players who was responsible for that goal. Velvik starts the move here. Murillo back in his path. And there is a deflection, but it's perhaps inconsequential. Except that it perhaps also helps it beat the keeper, but inconsequential in the sense that it's not going to be an own goal. Possibly Park Chan-young's foot on the floor, just planted. And Lars Velvik moves up to 6 goals. Could yet get it into the double figures he enjoyed last year. And now we've gone from a situation where all 3 games this evening were deadlocked to a situation where they're all opening up, and taking a look at a triple substitution. Somewhat confused by this because I was under the impression that Suwon FC were only allowed to make 3 changes this game.
사이즈 정재용 브릴로 라스 선수에게도 박수를 보내주시기 바랍니다.
And it looked like 3 players were about to come on. And the reason for that is that under 22 rule. I have to just revisit some of the small print there, but in the meantime we have seen a change that is confusing in its own right, because Lars Velvik, having just been part of a goal and helping to build real belief in the side, a side that have just taken the lead, well, Kim Hyun has come on for Lars Velvik. Yeah, I was about to also round up the other games before I just confirm the substitution picture for Suwon FC. 1-0 obviously in this game to Suwon FC. Suwon getting some possession back as well. They were down at barely 20% in the first half. Incheon 1-0 winners, it looks like, with seconds to remain at Jeju United, but not quite over. Kimcheon 1-0 up at Gangwon. That's a big scoreline. Still the same amount in that one as this one. And Kim Seung-jun, Park Min-gyu, great chance. Much better than it looked in the end, with that one blasted into the side netting.
찾아주신 모든 분들께 진심으로 감사를 드립니다.
Chung Tae-hee and eventually Park Joo-ho jumping over. Pushed out wide with Grant playing short to Isubin. Pohang mentioned in the first half that there might be this situation where if they were to fall behind, they might lose their way, and I'm afraid to say for Pohang there may be an element of that, despite the changes that Suwon have made, bringing off Murillo and Lars Velvik. Still Suwon coming forward, there is an offside there. Chung Tae-hee. Flying challenge from Park Min-gyu, who's lost his headband. It's Grant. Now, Lee Seung-woo with some space, which he had such precious little of in the first half. With the ball in, it's landed to Kim Hyun. Oh, he's somehow been thwarted by the keeper. Should surely have been 2-0. It could still be by the end of this move, but now Kang Hyun-moo comes out to collect. Well, what a collection of events, and Suwon FC are suddenly very much in control of this game. Cheering on the possibility of what might be an unlikely 3 points if you watch the first half. And as the 20-minute mark comes upon us with stoppage time on top of that, Pohang might find themselves 2-0 down before they are able to even consider how they're going to get one back. Lee Seung-woo, oh, slides it through the gap brilliantly. Kim Seung-jun's cross, it's too close to the keeper. And this is the Suwon FC that I was referring to in the first half when I said that sometimes they show up and other times they don't. Well, they've showed up for one half, but it's the half that's mattered. Unless Pohang can find a way back into it. And with Gangwon losing at home to Kimcheon, that would mean that Suwon FC would move into the top half of the table. Very even in terms of attempts overall. It has finished Jeju 0, Incheon 1. Which means Incheon make fourth place a little more comfortable for themselves and close in on Pohang. In a real topsy-turvy season in that respect, but here they have a go with a cross not able to find Jong Jae-hee. Seung-woo through. And it's another long high ball with Jong Jae-hee contesting. Park Min-gyu got there. Substitute Kwak Yun-ho, one of the trio that came on for Suwon FC in that slightly unexpected triple substitution. Still having got the conclusive answer on that. I'm trying to investigate. It's quite difficult while the game's in progress, but essentially the previews suggested, the rule was that because they only had one under 22 in their squad, that they could make 3 substitutions, that Pohang could make 5 because they had more than enough to field 2. Maybe a caveat there, the only one I can think of is if it's an under 20 who's starting, under 22 that starts a game, maybe then there's the option to make the extra sub. But it's something that we'll have to investigate further, because Suwon FC were able to make a string of changes at an unusual time when they'd just taken the lead as well, to bring off attacking options that helped exactly in that moment. Murillo with the assist, Velvet with a goal. Grant is bleeding on his wrist, and I don't know if that's coming from the nose area, but he's looking rather shell-shocked here as we move into the final 15.
인규야, 너 붙을 때 세계랑 공간 쓰거든. 주호가 받쳐줘야 돼.
And now Lee Seung-ho making way for Jongdong-ho. And as I said before, this is even more perplexing now because there's not even the caveat of having an under-22 starting. And it has been checking the ages of everybody who's featured in this game. The rule that we've been told all along is that you can field 2 under-22s at some point in the game and make 5 changes. Otherwise, you need to field 1 to be able to make 3 changes. And now, despite having 1 under-22 featuring in this game, Suwon FC have gone and made 5 changes. Was there an unreported exception there that you're allowed to make a change once? Or was it this particular moment of the season as we bunch fixtures up before the World Cup? If that had been reported, I wasn't aware of it, I'm afraid, and I hadn't seen it. I have to look into that and report back, but it's a bit perplexing that Suwon FC have done exactly what we said they wouldn't be able to do, and apologies for that. They do have 5 changes on the field. So far, Pohang have restricted themselves, and they continue to persevere with the 3 changes they already made in this game. Hoyong-jun still up front, but now 2 more entering, so both teams will have made the full 5. And they both do have weekend to think about. Suwon FC going to Seoul as Lee Seung-ho makes way. the real shame from Pohang's point of view overall is that this has been such a disappointing second half. They've not been able to maintain anything like the challenge imposed in the first half. As soon as they went 1-0 down, they've not had the bounce back, the push back that you often see. The whistle blows without Jung Dae-hee able to take it on. He was obviously not agreeing with the decision. He was pulled back in his tracks. And with boos in the crowd, we progress in this game with Pohang maybe enlivened a little by what they feel is an injustice there. Pohang dominate possession for what it's worth. Wanderson can't quite keep it in play. There is a warning from the referee about time wasting. It's that point of the game now. Edging towards a very valuable 3 points that would transform their picture from bottom half team to a top half team. As long as Gangwon still keep losing their game against Kimcheon, that's not a result they would have counted on. Given Gangwon's form and Kimcheon's form. So Wanderson saves the day there, and accusations of a back pass go unheeded. Gangwon have won their last 2 games. Kimcheon have drawn 2 and lost 2. So to turn that around this evening, it's certainly a big help, an unexpected help for Suwon FC. If things stay the way they are in both games, still time for both or either to change. Here is the youngster, Mo Kyung-ho. One of the several under-22s that Pohang have, more than enough for both teams to make 5 changes. It doesn't work that way. Isubin decides to go backwards. Wanderson with the cross headed back straight out by Kim Go-dong. Work that way. Possible push in the box. No major shout from Pohang. That goes straight to the keeper. Subin decides to go back. Sang-hyuk. And the cross comes in. Ha Yong-jun goes down with Kwak Yun-ho. And there's a bit of confusion over the last touch. I'm Not sure if that replay particularly clears things up. The referee's adamant it's a corner. Anderson's ball in. It's loose. Kim Sung-dae. Oh, what a save! Had to be a strong hand. Jung Jae-hee looks to bring it back in. That's straight out. Wow, Kim Sung-dae with probably the best chance of the second half for Pohang. This might offer us a better angle of how close this came. In all honesty, it would have been a weak goal to concede, but the keeper's got to react through a sea of bodies, and he does spot it in time, pushes it away. Just doesn't quite get enough force on it, Kim Sung-dae. Either got to hit that harder or position it slightly better away from the keeper. Decent save nonetheless from Park Bae-jong, who had a nervy start to this game. Faced an early Pohang onslaught. Suwon recovered, and they have been rewarded with the lead. Kim Hyun. Chung Dong-ho. Suwon come forward again with Kim Sung-jun, and it's a near post save from Kang Hyun-mo. Nice ball through Jang Hyuk-jin. And inside the final 5 plus stoppages. Lee-yong's corner. It's an outswinger headed as far as Park Min-kyu on his right foot, and he seemed completely unsure of what to do. And he can laugh about it now, but hopefully for Suwon they won't find themselves regretting their lack of conviction at this stage of the game. Anderson. It's Park Min-kyu's left on the ground. And just a moment of uncertainty with Ho Young-jun booked instantly for that, and maybe he's lucky only to be booked. Generally speaking, it wasn't an elbow or a punch or anything particularly violent, but he's used Kwak Yun-ho as a weapon against his own goalkeeper by thrusting him into the other. And they've both been left on the ground. So needless, because it takes valuable moments away from Pohang, which are rarely added on in full. But that was the build-up. Lee Soo-bin catching Park Min-kyu, and then this. He's essentially, in hindsight, he's forced the headbutt here. Well, not a headbutt, but could have been. Managed to pull his head back in time. Bit of silly behaviour really from the standing captain, but we get underway again now. Sung-dae knocking it back again to the substitute, Noh Kyung-ho. And threaded through to Jung Jae-hee, who's not had his best game. It's not quite happened in terms of impact. He thinks he was fouled there. Park Min-kyu maybe issuing a dose of revenge. Not on the same player who clattered him a few moments ago, though. It definitely looks like a foul with the replay. But it will be a corner. Wanderson. Too comfortable for Eong to head it straight back out. 5 minutes. We've had a few stoppages in there. It's almost curling right towards the top corner on the far side. Minutes. We've had a few stoppages in there. It's almost curling right towards the top corner on the far side. And here's Park Joo-ho. Jung Hyuk-jin and Suwon FC looking to make things happen. Rested several top players. Lee Sung-woo, one of the latest to come off, but they're still pushing forward and keeping their hopes alive of playing away at Seoul this weekend. Though Seoul have less rest anyway because they're playing tomorrow at Jeonbuk. Pohang maybe have a bigger case for resting because they've got to go away to Ulsan this weekend. Fierce rivals. Wanderson flicks it back to Jung Jae-hee. Tries to just protect his opportunity here. Wanderson has snuck through there, and I think that was a corner, despite the reaction from Park Min-kyu. Wanderson's cross. Headed on from Lee Kwang-jun, and Wanderson back across. Still chances, and that was the golden one. Ho Young-jun, well, he had a point-blank header in the side the first couple of minutes of this game, and this one was almost point-blank again with a foot. Maybe not the very easiest of chances, but despite having to stretch for it, he's got no contest from a defender there. Just needs to steer it past the keeper. Well, results like this, results like the Songnam against Ulsan, show that really anyone is beating anyone this season of all seasons. It's been particularly unpredictable. Kang Hyun-moo away with less than a minute and a half to go. range. Jong Dong-ho having a foray forward, now 20 seconds. Well, another silly, unnecessary challenge at this point of the game, unless there's a lot of acting involved here. Maybe a case that it's a little bit of both. Chim Sang-min is surveying what he's supposedly done there. Now, Jong Dong-ho is very experienced right back. He's gone down as if he's been caught with the full force of Chim Sang-min in the face there. He did raise his arm. That is the game, and it's just one of those for Pohang where they'll have to look back on it and ask themselves how and why did they not capitalize on their domination in the first half. The second half, Suwon FC were ready. They somehow were able to make 5 full changes. Need to look into the substitution rule as to what's changed there, or whether there's been a special dispensation for Suwon FC, because they only fielded 1 under 22, but nonetheless, whatever the case, they have 3 points. They have what seemed in the first half an unlikely 1-0 win, and it looks like they're heading to the top half of the table with the split of the division just 3 rounds away.
Hello, Les. Hello.
Hello. 안녕하세요.
First of all, congratulations on the big win. How do you feel today?
Yeah, very good. We knew it was a tough game against a good team, but we fought as a team. We didn't play our best game, but most important now we have 3-4 more games left, and we're all finals. So 3 points. That's all what matters.
일단은 너무 기분이 좋고요. 상당히 어려운 경기였고 포항이란 좋은 팀을 상대로 어려운 경기 예상이 됐고, 근데 저희가 팀으로서 하나로 똥돌 묻혀가지고 좋은 경기 한 것 같아서 너무 기분 좋고요. 뭐 가장 중요한 거는 저희가 뭐 좋은 경기력은 아니었지만 그래도 승점 3점을 딴 것을 상당히 기쁘게 생각을 하고, 앞으로 남은 3게임 최선을 다해서 또 좋은 성적으로 저희가 시즌을 또 마무리하고 또 스플릿 들어가기 전에 또 좋은 성적으로 저희가 최대한 승점을 쌀 수 있도록 노력하겠습니다. Congratulations in English.
Thank you. 감사합니다.
Obviously, like you said, it wasn't the best game, and even yourself, it wasn't the best performance. What do you think about the performance, your individual performance today?
For me as an individual, I think I fought for the team. I made a lot of kilometers defensively. Didn't have many chances, but I'm happy